Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Motivation Monday. Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Who they? Who they? Who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody. Hi guys. Happy Monday. This is gonna be a really, really quick one because guys, my Mondays have been just so busy. I have appointments and meetings and lots going on, right? So this is going to be real quick. If you're here, please come on in. If you follow me, please do so. If you don't, if you follow me, please share. If you don't follow me, please like, subscribe, and share. If you follow me on YouTube, if you follow me, I have two YouTube channels. Just want to throw that out. One is Just Kimberly, which is my personal YouTube, which is what sparked all this. And then I just created a brand new YouTube channel, and it's called Motivation with Kimberly. And that is where all this podcast stuff goes and everything goes. I just realized, guys, I do not have my mic on. It's been crazy, and I'm sure you guys can hear me. I really should have my mic on because, again, this is converted to a podcast. I hope it works out great. Hope you guys can hear me. I know I speak really loud. I'm really hot with this headband on, but I had to rep my Bengals today, yesterday. Who they, guys? Who they to the Cincinnati Bengals? But before we get into it, you know what we do? You know what we do? Bam, it's Duncan. There we go. Duncan. So today I'm trying something different. This is oh geez. It's new. Brand new. So don't quote me. Let me read what I have. Almond spice coffee. It is a decaf almond spice coffee. You guys know I do it on the app. Monday is my Dunkin' day. Monday is my treat day. Yeah, so this is my first time trying it. And you guys will try it with me. So cheers to that. That's pretty good. I don't know why it tastes similar to something else. And I feel like maybe I've had, no, this is brand new. Like on the menu, it says brand new. But you guys know I like to try all the new stuff. And then I come on and then I tell you guys how I like it. So this is brand new. But it still has almost a pumpkin spice flavor to it. It's almond spice. So I think because it's almond spice, it has almond milk in it, which is what I get anyway. And then this has Splenda. The sugar gotta go. You guys know when I get these drinks, they are full of sugar. Gotta go. And let me tell y'all what happened last time I didn't do Money Motivation last week. There was a reason for that. I'm gonna tell you why. It's good. You can taste the almond though. There's almond extract in there too. You know, it's spice and almond extract. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. So what happened was, I'm hot, guys. So what had happened was, the week before last, when I got the Coolatta, and if you don't remember, go back. Maybe I'll put the link of the last Motivation Monday, which I typically do. If you follow me on YouTube, you'll see I put the little click up there. But I thought it was caffeine free. Au contraire, mon frere. It was not caffeine free. It had caffeine in it. And unfortunately, I am extremely caffeine sensitive. Guys, it got so bad where I almost had to go to the ER. That's how bad it was. I waited it out. I didn't know what it was at first. I didn't know because the Coolatta was supposed to not have caffeine in it. So I called my daughter. I said, I don't feel good. I'm like, something's not right. And I asked her, I said, do you ever drink the Coolatta? She said, well, yeah. And I said, does it have caffeine? And she said, yes, Mom, it does. I had gone to the hospital, doctor, and everything. Like my doctor did blood work. She ordered a chest x-ray. I mean, I was a mess. And come to find out, it was the caffeine. So guys, be careful because these drinks are spiked with caffeine. That's why they call them spiked, or they call them energy drinks. And, I always ask. This time I didn't ask because I just assumed this Coolada because it has fruit in it. I thought that it was okay. No. So it pays to ask, if you're like myself, if you are going if you cannot drink caffeine, and you're caffeine sensitive, you better ask. So shout out to my daughter who pretty much saved my life because my doctor knew how to treat me. So this is good. So that's how I knew that I had the caffeine issue. And so she knew what to do to how to, to fluctuate my medication, all that good stuff, right? So crazy. Hey, Neil. What's up, Neil? I only got about 15 minutes, Neil. Maybe 16 because I got a meeting at noon, but we're going to make this as quick as we can. So anyway, shout out to the Bengals for getting that win yesterday. We needed that win. And I think what made it so sweet was we won against Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton is not the head quarterback for the Cardinals. I mean, the Panthers, I'm sorry. But I think their lead quarterback was sick or something. So yeah, we 1-3. We needed that win, right? We needed that. So yeah, praise God for that. We needed to win. They came to play. And you knew they came to play. They came out. Defense was D'ing. Okay? Shout out to the defense because I'm going to tell you, our defense has always stepped up in certain situations. But the last two games, I don't know if their heads just weren't in the game. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But shout out to defense. Shout out defense for, stepping up. They did some great stops, a couple of turnovers. And just like in Andy Dalton, style, he threw a couple interceptions. Right? One got called back, but he threw a couple. So, and it was intercepted, but anyway, one, was great. The other one, they called it back because it was a flag, on the defense. So it is what it is, but we got to win. I'll take it. It was a decent win too. It was 34-24. We stayed ahead. Normally when the Bengals are ahead in the first half, they go in halftime, come back out. I don't know. We lose it. It happens almost every time. This time was different. We maintained the lead, kept it, allowed a few points, but we did what we did. So we got to play the Steelers. We got to play, next we play, oh gosh. Neil, who we play next? I saw it. Who we play next? I don't know. Anyway, it is what it is. I'll take that win. We'll figure it out later. So, yeah. So, happy National Podcast Day. Happy National Podcast Day. Again, if you don't follow me, the podcast launched back, what's the date? It was the September 2nd. It launched, and you got to go to the YouTube channel to hear it. So, yeah. Got a great, having some really great guests on. It's really, the last one I had was wonderful. So you got to go to Motivation Kimberly on YouTube, and I'll post a link. I have very few followers there right now. I have more followers on my Just Kimberly page, of course. So what I'm doing is I'm posting it on both pages right now so it can be seen, but I want people to go over to that page. All of my followers that are on my YouTube channel, my Just Kimberly YouTube channel, and my 3,400 followers, 1,000 followers here, and my 1,000 followers on my other page, and then my 1,300 followers on YouTube. I want everybody to go over there, right? So that's the plan. That's the plan. So also, thank you to those who have been donating to the Reese Spencer Foundation. Give you guys an update. Mary, the widow, who we sponsored her back in 2022 and was only supposed to be for a year. Well, it kind of went above that because there were still needs there. And so thank you to those who've been giving now. Mary lost her oldest child. It was absolutely devastating. Devastating to her and the family. Her oldest daughter, she got sick with something and they don't know what it was. And their situation is bad. And it would not surprise me if she got maybe typhoid or, you know, tetanus or something like that because of where they live. And the water they're drinking, it's not clean water. They're drinking well water. All of that, like it's making a big difference. And unfortunately, it's having an impact on their livelihood. And unfortunately, she got ill. They weren't sure what it was exactly. I could probably guess because I know they drink well water. I've been there. I've seen them get the well water. They cook with it. They drink with it. Well water is not clean. You have to boil it. And they don't do that. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate. And they get sick. And I've had to tell my husband, oh, God love him, he got typhoid poisoning from eating at a roadside. You know, it's like our McDonald's or our Wendy's or our fast food. They have little chop shops and they're considered like fast food. And he ate and got really sick, but thankfully he could afford to go to the doctor and get the medication needed. And, you know, that was not the case here. So, yeah, you know, prayers, please, for her. She is not well. They had to take her away from her home. She went mad, pretty much, because she just lost her husband. So now she's lost her oldest child. It was just too much for her. And she was overwhelmed, and she had to go to a neighboring community with a friend, and they had to keep her there to keep her safe. And it was just, it's heartbreaking. So thank you to those who've been giving. Thank you to Anita Pearson, I'm sorry, I always say my cousin's name wrong. And also to, who else donated? Melinda Jones, who just donated yesterday. Thank you so much. And there was one other person donated, and please forgive me for, I'll shout you out later. But yeah, so thank you to those of you who are giving. The goal is to buy food for them for a month. Now, let me show you guys the ratio. The ratio or the difference. Okay, as far as the money exchange rate. If I get $15, right? That is equated to $14 is equated to 219 cedi, Ghanaian cedi, which is huge because right now the exchange rate is for $1 is 15.70 cedi. That's huge. It was never that much. So unfortunately, the Ghanaian dollar is not doing well, but if you have American dollars, it goes far. So the goal is to buy them. So we've been buying them food like every few days. We got a $50 donation. We were able to buy enough food for a week, right? And so we just got another donation. So we're going to go and see if we can get it for a couple of days. And that was like $15. But the goal is to buy for the entire month. And what's happening is our organization, the international liaison there in Ghana, has the food and is rationing it out. So because her daughters are the ones that is cooking the food, and then there's another person who's cooking the food. So we want to make sure that the food is rationed right, it stretches, and that's what's happened. So thank you guys so much for those who gave. Thank you so much, and continue to give. Please go to www.reesmensahfoundation.org/giving if you would like to give. Please, 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 I beg of you. We need help for this family. So I'm hoping to buy food up to November 1st. So if we can do that, everybody seems to be fine so far. We've already provided beds for them. We built concrete into her shack. She lives in a shack to make sure that the water, you see guys, we just had a hurricane, right? Just imagine what's happening down, the flooding that's happening in Florida and South Carolina and North Carolina, right? So just imagine that happened in Ghana and you live in a shack. So the water comes into your house, right? So we built a barrier, a concrete barrier in her shack to keep the foundation, to keep some of the water out. But in the rainy season, some water still comes in. She needs to move. She needs a house. She needs a home. And she's living in a situation to where there's no water, running water, there's no electricity, and there's no bathroom facilities. They have to use the bathroom the best way they can, and it is a lot. So enough of that. So thank you guys again for that. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me or go to our Reese Mensa Foundation page here on Facebook and leave us a message, and we can definitely get back with you. So definitely want to get back with you. So let's talk about something that I didn't put the topic at hand today, and we got about 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, 7 minutes, right, to talk about this. But let's talk about the topic at hand for a second. And so the other day, I was out like I normally am. I'm out. And I ran into a situation where there was a person who was extremely rude to me. Extremely rude. Normally, I okay, let me just say this. They weren't trying to be, okay? So I'm driving, okay? And I'm driving down, and I'm about to get off Cross County Highway, and this woman, she cuts me off. I don't remember if I showed the story or not, but she cut me off, right? And do you know how when someone is frantic and you can tell? So if you let somebody over when you're driving, right? We all do this. Like I flick my lights, go ahead and get over, and they get over, and then in the rear view mirror, you can see them doing this thank you, right? That's what I do when I let people over. I thank them. If they let me over, I thank them. And then sometimes people thank me. Sometimes people don't. It is what it is. Just be courteous and, you'll get it back, right? You definitely reap what you sow. So this happened, like when I tell you this woman cut me off, and I almost went there. And I was very calm for a minute, and I was like, did she just cut me off? Like she literally cut me off. But when she got in front of me and she was getting off the highway. So basically what happened was she realized, oh no, this is my stop. I got to get over. That's what happened. How many times have we done that, right? So she got over and she was getting off on the highway in front of me and cut me off, whatever. And I'd be like, what? Look, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to tell you, the old Kim would have did that. Who you cut me off? Blah, 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 blah. Even my kids in the car would have did that, which was terrible experience. Terrible for them to see me do that. But, I don't like being cut off. And this time I was calm. I didn't get upset. I just pulled over and I kept driving. And she's doing this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She didn't do that until after she got in and into a round. And I think maybe she thought, oh, she's going to be mad at me. But it was apparent she needed to get over. It was apparent she needed to get over. So I let her over. I did that. And I realized that she did not do this on purpose. She didn't do it on purpose, but she had to get over immediately because she's about to miss her stop. Okay, now, how many times would you say in your life and in your interpersonal relationships that you find yourself in situations where people do things and, hey, Deborah, how are you? You do things, people do things to you. And it's really never their intention to hurt you, but it does happen. How many times has that happened, right? If you look at our world right now, if you look at all the news that's happening right now, the things that are in the news, and the craziness is happening with Diddy, right? That's crazy. The craziness is happening with our campaign and the current presidential campaign. The crazy things are happening with people getting shot. Up in there was a shooting at a mall the other day. There was a shooting in front of a restaurant at a party, killed like 4 people and 10 people were wounded. There was a situation where we saw that the young man whose father went to jail because he allowed him to have firearms, and he knew that that was going to happen, and he went to school and shot up the school, and people got killed, right? That's intentional stuff, right? Those are things that happen where people are doing intentionally. And for whatever reason they're doing it, whatever evil that is in them to do that, they're intentionally doing that, right? What I'm about to talk about, y'all, is going to be very interesting. And some of y'all will agree with me, and some of you won't, okay? There are people who were raised, and they do things because they were raised to do it. Not necessarily that they did it, they do it because they do it. They were raised to do it. So it's in them to do it, right? So, perfect example. I have a friend, and I'm going to make this real quick because I got to get off here. I have a friend who, her father is very old. Very, very old. He's a white man raised in America, raised and would use the N-word often because it was a part of his culture at the time. She knew her father was like this. And she said whenever they would watch football, speaking of football, if a runner would run, if like a black runner would run, and he would be like, run run, get that ball in, and she would be like, Dad, why do you say that? She was like, well, he said, that's just what we call black people. He says, it's no big deal. It's just what we call them. Okay. She was so devastated to hear her father speak like this. And then over the years, he continued to do it, right? He's died since then. She shared this with me. A sister, very close sister, I've known for many years. And she said, Kim, she said, it fueled me to work in race relations. It fueled me to work with people of different colors and to learn about them. And she said, I was intentional about it because of how my father was raised and how I would see him in his racist rants, and he didn't even know it was racist. That's sad, right? So we live in a climate right now where people are doing things. They have guns. They are talking about, Jim Crow and how we need to go back to that. And it's because of how they were raised. It is in their DNA. And it's in them to talk this way and to be this way. It is in their DNA. Hold on one second. I'm back. I had to send a quick message. Like I told y'all, I had a noon meeting and I'm going over, but it's all good. When you have been raised in something, you do what you do because you don't know any better. This man didn't know better. His wife and his children and his daughter kept telling him, Dad, this is not okay. But he was an old man who was stuck in his ways and did not think it was a big deal. He honestly didn't think it was a big deal. He says, we've been calling black people the N-word for years, and some of them call each other that. That's for a whole nother day, right? So, with that being said, sometimes people do things and they do it because they're groomed to do it, or they've been raised to do it, or it's really not their intention. It's almost like she was like, her father had hired black people. They had a business. He had one of his best friends was black, but he used the N-word often and thought it was okay. I pray that in his death, when he saw whoever he saw at the end of his death, that they told him, no, that was not okay. And no, that hurts. That's hurtful. And you can't talk to people that way. You can't talk about people that way. Sometimes we have to realize that the intentionality of people on an evil perspective, there are people who just do things out of evil. And they just do it because they're evil. Then there are people who do it because they just don't realize they're doing it. They're not trying to be intentionally evil. It's just something that they do, as they say. I had a situation when I was younger. I heard one of my uncles call a white person a redneck. So I went to a college visit in elementary school, and we were talking about different names. I had two guys. It was me and another black girl, and we had two white guys who were our tours. And I told him, I said, aren't you a redneck? I said that. And he looked at me, he turned red, like he was very embarrassed. But he realized I was a child and I'd heard that. And he said, who told you? I said, well, my uncle, he always says that white people are rednecks. And I just said it. And he just kind of like, he chuckled. He said, well, sweetie, he was like, that's really not a nice word. He said, people don't really like to be called that. I said, oh. So I went home and talked to my mom about it. She says, you said what? She was devastated. I said, well, we were talking about names and nicknames and stuff. And I said that. So, yeah, I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I was a child. But mind you, what if my mother didn't correct me? What if I wasn't corrected? What if my dad and them didn't correct me? And they call people rednecks and stuff all the time. What would that have been? Now, we know now that there's a whole thing. You're a redneck if blah, 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 blah. And we know there's a whole thing where black people, men specifically, whatever, that's what they say. It's still wrong. It's still hurtful, and it still shouldn't be done. So I would just implore you to try to forgive people who do things. Even Jesus said, forgive them for they know not what they do. Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy with that. And even with that, on that level, we kind of have to forgive, right? So, okay, guys, Reese's Pieces, I gotta go. I'm 5 minutes late to my meeting. Have an awesome day. Have an awesome rest of your day. Have an awesome rest of your week. And I will see you guys next time. I gotta go. Bye. Hootie. Bye.